Yo, it's Trent. Hope everyone's having a good day, good weekend so far, and we got my first time taking Shrooms story time. So I really thought I told this story, but from what it looks like, I've only told like one Shroom story, and it wasn't this one, so let's get to it, right? I swear, though, I really thought I told this one. It kind of makes me, not mad, just annoyed, because this is a good one. I should have told this one a while ago, but hope you guys enjoy, right? So, to set the stage, it was my first time pretty much ever, right? I'm trying to think if... No, it was only LSD up to this point, right? So I had tripped before, but I had never taken shrooms. And what everybody told me about shrooms, right, was like very, very semi-accurate compared to what it was actually like, right? Because I had tripped acid a lot, like a whole summer, probably 15 times, right around there, right? And I had fun 90% of the time. Then I was starting not to, right? A couple bad trips. So I was a little nervous about shrooms, but everybody kept telling me that it's not as strong as acid, but it's obviously like not weed. Like it's way more strong than weed, not as strong as acid. That's what people told me, right? So we had to go out and get some, and I remember we had to drive real far. We had to drive like in the middle of the country, and not the middle of the country, literally, like, I'm in Illinois, so if you go south or if you go towards Wisconsin, it's just fields everywhere. That's what I mean, right? Like, we had to drive out on the countryside just to find shrooms, right? So we found them. They were also super expensive. I remember thinking, like, or not super expensive, but just more than weed prices. I remember thinking, like, damn, I should have just gotten bud, but whatever, right? So we got these ones, and I can't remember the type they were, but they were all white, and I mean, they had speckles of darker color, but they were mainly all white shrooms, right? And they were rock hard. Okay, that comes into play later. So we were trying to think, where should we trip? Well, it didn't take us long to decide, let's go to my grandparents' house, right? They do not condone any of those things, but they never knew, and including this time, they had no idea, right? That's why we would do it there. We weren't, like, allowed to get fucked up at their house. It was just, the least chance of getting caught and, you know, safer than us just walking around like we would when we took acid, right? So we got there, and we invited a third friend to come over, right? But he was just the trip sitter. He wasn't going to trip, or if he was only eating a tiny, tiny amount, right, to make sure we were good. And my friend, he tripped a lot and done a lot of other things, so, you know, we weren't too worried about him, but me being my first time, we just thought it would be safer with an extra person, right? So we get to their house, we go up to our room, right, where we would always hang out and party, and we're sitting at this circular wooden table, right, and we have all the shrooms poured out. I can't remember how many we bought all together, but I think we got like 5 or 6 grams, right, because me and my friend were splitting it, and he was saying, you know, we don't need to eat an eighth, but let's not eat just like, you know, 1 or 1.5 grams. We got to eat at least 2, he was saying. So I was like, okay, right? But we ended up getting like 5 or 6 grams. So when we had it split up, it looked just about like we each got like 3 grams, and then we could share a little bit with our friend, or I'd have like 2.8 or 2.9, share a little bit. But either way, it was right around the 3 grams, you know, of shrooms. And to be honest with you guys, I should have done like 2 probably, or maybe like even 1.5. But because of my previous experience and all the LSD, my friends, they weren't too worried about me. And I don't blame them either, because like I'm a really anxious person, but it's not like I was telling them that, you know. It wasn't like I was telling them, hey, I'm nervous for this trip, right? They thought I was completely good. So not telling them what my mindset was definitely did not help this, right? But it's not that I had like a horrible trip. You'll see, it just wasn't like very, how do I put it, conventional. It wasn't very normal, right? It wasn't what I thought it was gonna be. So for the first 45 minutes, and by the way, they were super rock hard, so to eat them, right, we had to literally take like this butcher knife and chop them up and into tiny pieces and just take them like pills, right, because you couldn't chew them. They were literally like, they would have broken your teeth probably. Maybe not, they wouldn't have broken your teeth, but they were really hard to chew, and they tasted so bad, so it was like, why would you want to keep that in your mouth, right? So we were just taking them like pills, right, just swallowing pieces of it. So for the first 45 minutes, I felt absolutely nothing, right? Until I got this super intense stomach ache, right? And I don't mean just a normal stomach ache. It was like half nausea, half like, do I need to shit, and half like, I don't even know. I just felt like I needed to sleep, right? I remember I literally was laying on the couch, and you gotta think about this. This is in front of my friends, so you know my stomach was hurting if I was doing this. I was laying on the couch holding my stomach with both my legs, like up like that, you know, like behind, like to the left of me. So I was sitting like a girl, dude, because of how bad my stomach hurt. I was just sitting there all feminine, like, oh, right? Well, it went away like that. I can't snap very well. So it went away in literally an instant. Like 1 second, I felt like complete shit. And I was like, okay, I'm going to throw up and shit myself at the same time, right? 10 seconds later, I felt like a whole new man, completely fine, right? And then boom, I got this little burst of energy. It hit me like right back here. That's usually where the edibles get me, but who knows, right? I felt like the little magicalness of the shrooms, little magic, you know, the little boys. I felt the little, like the push right in the back going up my spine into my neck. And I was like, ooh, I feel adventurous, right? So I told my friend, I'm like, hey, I'm feeling good, right? Now, we ate him at the same exact time, but his body must have processed his shrooms quicker, right? Because we walked around for like 5 minutes in the house and went down to the basement, and they have a big basement, lots of carpet, right? It's a cool place to hang out. Well, now it's hardwoods, but it used to be carpet. So we went down there, and I was just starting my trip, right? Like, it was just starting to get a little colorful. I could see like tiny tracers, but not much, right? It was a lot of little diamonds, but I'm pretty sure that's what the tracers are, right? So we're down there, and my friend, the one that I'm tripping with, he lays on his back and like is not moving, right? He's just like, ah. And I ask him, I'm like, hey, are you good? And he's like, oh yeah, dude, I'm tripping real hard, right? So like I said, I waited the 45 minutes, and then my stomach started to hurt. Then I had to wait another like 20 minutes. Then I felt something. He started feeling that first feeling that I felt like 10, 20 minutes in, right? Like not 10, obviously, but like 20, 30 minutes in is when he started feeling it. So by the time we were in the basement, he'd already been tripping for like an hour. He was laying there fucked up, dude, obviously not peaking yet, but he was laying there unable to move, just like, oh, right? And he's like, these are really strong. And I was like, oh, really? And he's like, yeah, dude, trust me. And because like, you know, when you're in the tripping mindset, you're only focused on how you feel at that exact moment and like maybe how your friends are doing, but you're not really thinking about like the future unless you're anxious about it. But like the way the tripping mind works, it's like being a little kid. You have one thought at a time, and then it switches, then it switches, and then it switches, and then it switches, unless you're in like a time loop or something, or a thought loop. So we're in the basement. He's laying there like, and I thought for sure I am not going to feel it to the effects that he feels it, right? Just because that tripping mindset. But I just was being dumb, right? But I wasn't thinking about it. So we eventually start going upstairs, and I ask my friends, I'm like, hey, you guys want to smoke? Because I did have bud with me. And they're like, yeah, let's smoke. And my one friend who was tripping real hard, he's done his fair share of a lot of fun things, a lot of drug, whatever you want to say, right? He's done his fair share, but he's not a fan of weed, right? But because we were tripping, he wanted to hit it. And we didn't have a lighter, right? So we literally had to use a stick candle, like an old time candle, you know, like the sticks. It was a long red candlestick, like this big. We lit it on the stove, went out to the garage, and the wax was dripping, and we had to hold it sideways with the flame to light the bowl, dude. That's pretty legendary right there. So we hit it, right? My friend that was tripping with me, not the tripsitter, my other one, right? He hit it one time, ran inside, threw up all over the ground, dude, and then went into the bathroom. So me, I was having an okay trip up until that point, but the moment I saw the puke, it sent me to a bad place for some reason, right? Especially because I was like, oh my God, do I need to clean this up? And my other friend came up and he's like, I can clean it up, right? The tripster, he's like, I got it, don't worry about it, right? He was just helping me out mentally, and he could see that I was a little panicky, right? And I heard my friend from the bathroom say, I don't think I'm tripping anymore, which he still was. It just, I think throwing up shocked his system a little bit, or he just, you know, he wasn't ready to puke, or, you know, maybe afterwards he felt sober for a second, but he ended up, you know, still being tripping with me. Like, he was still tripping with me, obviously, but for a second, I thought he was right, because he goes, I'm not tripping anymore. So that sent me into a spiral of feeling like I was tripping alone, right? And I was like, oh no, I'm tripping alone. So I start freaking out. My friend's cleaning up the puke. My other friend's in the bathroom. I run upstairs to the room, right? And I go underneath the covers because I got like scared from that. My mind was weak during this, right? So I'm laying there under the covers, like scared, dude. I remember I was laying like this, I was breathing, trying to keep it together, and I think, okay, what can you do to calm down? Put on Juice World. I put on Juice World, it starts helping a little bit. Well, who did I go to the concert with? My friend, right? So I call that friend, and it's like midnight or 1 a.m. He answers, he's like, yo, like, what do you need? I have work tomorrow morning. And I was just like, hey, man, I'm tripping real fucking hard off shrooms, about to freak out, but just wanted to say hi. He talked with me for like 20-30 minutes. He talked to me, right? And it was real nice because I really was having a bad trip. Like, I didn't think I was, but it came on so quick. You got to think about this. I was having a complete normal trip, right? Started having a panic attack once my friend threw up. Then he says he's not tripping anymore. So in my head, I'm tripping alone, full on freak out. But my friend was a G. He calmed me down. And the rest of the time really wasn't that bad. But, final thing before I finish this story, I started peeking, dude, just like my friend was. Or he wasn't peeking exactly, but when he was laying down in the basement and he was like stuck on the floor, you know, that was me once I got into the bed. I was laying in the bed like, oh, right? And listen, I've never been one to share a bed with a homie, okay? That's not my style. But my friend came in, dude, after he was throwing up, and he was kind of in a similar mindset as me, not like nervous, but just real fucked up, right? He sat on the bed with me. Dude, we were laying there fucking tripping balls. We were looking at the ceiling, right? And the way their ceiling is, you know how there's like some people have lights in their ceiling? Like there'll be a light here, like a light up there, a light over here, a light over here, a light over there. Like, you know what I mean? All this circular little lights that are like in the ceiling. They have all those in the room. So we're looking up at those, and dude, it was like each one was shooting a different color out of it. Like one of them was green, one of them was red. I look over at the blinds, and it's completely dark out, right? Obviously, there's no color shining in. But to me, there was. There was like green, red, blue. I don't think there was yellow, maybe purple, but like little streams of color that I could see. And obviously, you know, that's just my brain because I was tripping, but I thought it looked wild. Like, I was having a good time looking at that, right? And then the trip sitter took the bed because the bed was on wheels and was pushing me and my friend around the room, right, while we're looking up. So he was just helping out our trip, dude. But it was a crazy little experience. Like, I know that doesn't sound that wild, but think if you were peeking off anything, right? And then you're getting pushed around on a bed while you're looking up at, like, lights. It was weird, dude. It was a good experience, but that was my first time taking shrooms. There's a little bit of everything. There was a lot of happiness, being scared, tiny bit of a bad trip, saw some throw up, smoked, like who knows, right? But I'll never blame the marijuana for that. Never gonna blame the weed, but what are you gonna do? Anyways, if you enjoyed, well, first of all, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, you can now become a member, so hey, if you want to see some special videos, some early access to things, live stream access, check that out. But thanks for watching. Hope everyone is safe. If you ever need anything, you can comment. Do my best to answer the positive ones. Or my Instagram, same name as my YouTube, right? You go in there, search me up. Or there's a link in my YouTube in the more info. Go in there, DM me. I'll get back to you within a day. You're not alone. Thanks for watching. Peace out.